live in interesting times. Today's stories. Vice Chancellor Strack says Austria rejects the UN Migration Pact. The prosecutor says Khashoggi was strangled and dismembered inside the consulate. A demonstration in Pittsburgh erupted against President Trump after anti-Semitic killings. A New York City fake newsstand aims to expose the dangers of misinformation. Another typhoon batters Saipan and Tinian. Plus, the Excellence in Visual Media Awards International holds its US debut. Hello everyone, I'm Anna Kui, bringing you stories from around the globe, and this is Eagle News, Washington, D.C. Austria said Wednesday it will not sign a United Nations Migration Pact that is set to be adopted in December in order to defend its national sovereignty. The United States and Hungary have already rejected the Global Compact for Migration, which aims to boost cooperation to address the world's growing number of migrants.
Wir haben heute im Ministerrat unter anderem den UN-Migrationspakt behandelt und wir haben uns mit dem UN-Migrationspakt befasst und nach eingehender Prüfung bestehen einerseits erhebliche Bedenken gegen die Inhalte, die in diesem Pakt auch vorhanden sind und dokumentiert sind und vor allen Dingen hinsichtlich der Inhalte und Ziele. Und wir lehnen konkrete Inhalte, die in dem Pakt formuliert worden sind, auch ab und können diese auch inhaltlich nicht unterstützen. Das ist gar nicht.
A statement from the ruling coalition led by Chancellor Sebastian Kurz of the center-right OEVP said, the government has agreed not to sign the United Nations Pact and thus not to bind Austria. Kurz's coalition partner, the far-right Freedom Party, FPOE, has been pushing for Vienna to reject the pact. The coalition, which took office last year, won votes on an anti-immigration platform following the 2015 surge in arrivals of asylum seekers. Kurz was quoted as saying in the statement, although the pact is non-binding, Austria said it would not sign because of the importance of defending Austria's national sovereignty. The final text was agreed in July after 18 months of negotiations and is set to be adopted during a conference in Morocco on December 10 to 11. It lays out 23 objectives to open up legal migration and better manage flows of people as the number on the move worldwide has increased to 250 million, or 3% of the world population. The United States said in December it was quitting negotiations on the pact because of provisions inconsistent with U.S. immigration and refugee policies. Hungary's anti-immigration Prime Minister Viktor Orban said in July that Budapest would boycott the pact because it was dangerous for the world and Hungary and would inspire millions to set out on the road. Poland has also expressed opposition to the accord.
Making details of the murder public for the first time, Turkey's chief prosecutor said Wednesday journalist Jamal Khashoggi was strangled as soon as he entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul and then dismembered as part of a premeditated plan. The revelations came just hours after Saudi Arabia's chief prosecutor left Istanbul, and the Turkish prosecutor's office said it was obliged to reveal the details after the talks produced no concrete results.
Gruesome reports in the Turkish media had previously alleged that Khashoggi, a 59-year-old Washington Post contributor critical of the powerful Saudi crown prince, had been killed and cut into pieces by a team sent from Riyadh to silence him. His body has not been found. A statement from the office of Istanbul Chief Prosecutor Irfan Fidan said, in accordance with the plans made in advance, the victim, Jamal Khashoggi, was strangled to death immediately after entering the Consulate General of Saudi Arabia in Istanbul on October 2, 2018, for marriage formalities. It added, the victim's body was dismembered and destroyed following his death by suffocation, again in line with advanced plans. It also said despite well-intentioned efforts to reveal the truth, no concrete results have come out of those meetings. Riyadh sent the head of its investigation to Istanbul this week, seeking to draw a line under a crisis that has brought near unprecedented scrutiny on Saudi Arabia. However, a senior Turkish official said earlier Wednesday Saudi officials seemed primarily interested in finding out what evidence Turkey had against the perpetrators. After arriving on Sunday, Saudi Arabia's Attorney General Sheikh Saud al-Mojab met with Fidan twice, visited the consulate and spoke with Turkey's MIT intelligence agency. He flew out of Istanbul on Wednesday afternoon without making a public statement. After initially insisting Khashoggi left the consulate unharmed, then saying he died in a brawl during an interview gone wrong, the Saudi regime has since admitted he was killed by a rogue operation and arrested 18 people. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has urged the Saudi regime to reveal the location of Khashoggi's body and who ordered the hit. Erdogan has also called on Riyadh to reveal the identity of local, quote, co-conspirators that media reports claimed had disposed of Khashoggi's body. The Istanbul prosecutor's office said that Mojab said Saudi authorities had made no such statement about local collaborators. It added the Saudi prosecutor's office meanwhile invited Fidan and his delegation to Riyadh, along with the evidence they have obtained.
Up next, a demonstration in Pittsburgh erupted against President Trump after anti-Semitic killings. A New York City fake newsstand aims to expose the dangers of misinformation. Another typhoon batters Saipan and Tinian. Eagle News, Washington, D.C. will return in a moment. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News, Washington, D.C. Around 1,500 people took to the streets of Pittsburgh Tuesday to demonstrate peacefully in song against a visit by U.S. President Donald Trump and to mourn 11 Jewish worshippers killed in a synagogue. The crowd marched for 6 blocks holding signs that read, "President hate, leave our state," and "Trump's lies kill."
We will build this world.
They march through leafy Squirrel Hill, the tolerant and diverse neighborhood that has been a beating heart of Pittsburgh's Jewish community, home to the synagogue where Saturday's carnage took place. President Trump flew into the city with wife Melania to pay his respects at the Tree of Life synagogue, but many in the largely Democratic city say his rhetoric and vitriolic tweets have fanned white supremacy and are fueling a spike in anti-Semitism across the United States. The rally began with an organizer reading aloud from an open letter written by a group of Pittsburgh Jewish leaders to Trump, telling him he bears responsibility for the shooting and asking him not to come. She read, "President Trump, you are not welcome in Pittsburgh until you fully renounce white nationalism."
Ahead of the U.S. midterm elections, a media professional and a group of students, the Columbia Journalism Review, and the creative agency TWA Chiat New York, construct a misinformation newsstand with fake magazines containing false headlines meant to expose the dangers of fake news and educate people on how to recognize it.
So what we've done is we've taken headlines that were widely shared on the internet that were fake, and we've taken them out of the internet and put them in the real world on these publications that we made up. And what we're trying to do is to sort of make people realize how absurd a lot of this is. We're trying to make people differentiate real news from fake news. There's a sort of swarm of this fake information right now, especially in election season in the US. And what it's doing is it's hurting real information, it's hurting real journalism.
Obviously a real problem, everyone knows it's a real problem. All we can kind of do is educate people, get people literate in consuming the news, being able to call bullshit more easily.
According to weather.com, Super Typhoon U2 has become the strongest typhoon of record to pass over Saipan and Tinian. The typhoon has just cleared the U.S. territories in the Western Pacific region after becoming a Category 5 storm. Eagle News correspondent Lizelle Cristobal shows us the devastation U2 brought to the island of Saipan.
For the second time in just 6 weeks, the Western Pacific fall victim to another giant storm. This time, it's Super Typhoon U2. Winds of up to 290 kilometers an hour battered the islands of Saipan and Tinian, where the eye of the storm traveled directly overhead on early Thursday morning. Strong winds and even lightning, which lasted about 3 hours, caused power outages and flooding to homes. Witnesses also claimed to have seen storm surges measuring more than 6 meters.
What did your family and you do while waiting out the storm?
Well, first of all, when the storm hit, we were all kind of panicking. We were like in the living room, planning to do what to do next thing. And until we keep on hearing the roof, if kind of like almost there to flying off, we had this last minute idea of just going under the bed and like putting the pillows in there and all that stuff and all our electronics under there, as well as the important things. We basically camped out there for almost the whole night, all the way till 4 o'clock, or 4 to 5, until the water came in and kind of ruined the place that we're like laying down on, and we have to wait in the living room, which is already broken, all the way until 6 o'clock until we were able to get out.
Can you describe any more damage it has done to your home or car?
The home roof's damaged. The boards that were in there, it fell off while the tin flew out. Especially that house over there. The bottom roof, it flipped over, blocking the people who was staying in there, and they were like yelling for help in 1 a.m.
Upon daybreak, residents began assessing the damage to their properties. Cars and other loose items were tossed around like small toys.
How did you prepare for the storm?
We boarded up the windows, and my dad, he did that to the car.
As you can see, the car is... We put something around the car so nothing falls on it. And then our clothes, we put it in plastic bags and placed it in the room that we thought was the safest. Describe any damages done to your home or your car. If you look behind us, it used to be our house.
The roof came off, and then the windows over there, the door smashed through it. And then the only place that survived was the kitchen, which is where we're staying right now.
Yeah. All our bedrooms got wet. And our clothes got wet because none of the roofs did.
Ralph Torres, the governor of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, has been urging residents this whole week to be proactive, stay informed, and prepare for the worst conditions. Meanwhile, schools remain closed until further notice. United States President Donald Trump has already approved funding for immediate assistance in the wake of this latest disaster. Teams from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, have been in Guam and Saipan since September, still assessing and recovery efforts from Super Typhoon Mangkhut. Just like Mangkhut, Typhoon U2 is expected to continue marching westward towards Asia. Reporting from Saipan, Northern Mariana Islands, this is Lizelle Cristobal for Eagle News, one with Net 25.
Thank you, Lizelle. When we come back, the Excellence in Visual Media Awards International holds its U.S. debut. Eagle News Washington, D.C. will return shortly. This is Eagle News Washington, D.C. I'm Anna Cree. Independent filmmakers, screenwriters, artists, and fans attend the U.S. debut of the Excellence in Visual Media Awards International at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles, California. Eagle News correspondents Alan and Eva Basalahe take us to the red carpet.
From the EVM Awards International 2018, When the demand for a world-class venue is issued by powerhouse industries such as music, television, sports, and video games, many a savvy promoter will vie for the chance to stage their show in the building right behind us.
Steps from the Staples
And Los Angeles Convention Center,
as well as a short bus ride from Hollywood and Beverly Hills. The Microsoft Theater in downtown Los Angeles, California is the idyllic setting for concerts, shows, and competitions.
the American Music Awards, Primetime Emmys, the ESPYs, American Idol, and a whole lot more have entertained and astonished crowds inside this theater.
And now added to that list is Eaglenews.PH with their event, Excellence in Digital Media Awards International, also called the EVMAs. In cinema, the film production arm of the Iglesia Ni Cristo created the EVMAs to give Christian value-themed short films a platform upon which to stand and be recognized. Officials of the Iglesia Ni Cristo explained further the purpose and history of the EVMAs.
This was envisioned by our executive minister to enhance the talents of our brethren inside the Church of Christ, and also through short films like this, it will show the values of a member of the Iglesia Ni Cristo, not only to all the brethren around the world, but also to non-members of the Church of Christ.
What does In Cinema and the EVM Awards International look like in the future?
Well, Alan, when I first heard of Microsoft Theater, because I've been out of California for so long and living in another country, I was wondering what it was. But when I looked it online, this is such a well-known place already. And to have the event here in this place, I was actually blown out of my mind. Like, this is a big event. And so now I can see in the future, I wouldn't be surprised if we were at the Sydney Opera House. I wouldn't be surprised if we were there in Times Square in New York, because at the rate that we're going, at the rate that this is going, it's going to be all over. So you can expect to be in these major cities all over the world someday.
Guests of the EVMAs arrived with much fanfare, dressing for and playing the part of A-listers at a Hollywood red carpet affair. Where are you from?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. My trip was about a 5-hour flight. It was a good flight, thankfully.
What was it like for you to get ready?
But it was just very fun to, do my best to make sure that I looked the part for such an important event.
Filmmakers, cast and crew members, many of whom are first-timers when it comes to cinematic storytelling, arrived wide-eyed and eager to see how their work would stack up against other short film entries.
So the title of our film is Embers, and Embers represents the fire that we keep in our hearts, the light and the hope that we keep in our hearts during rough times.
This film was a totally new cast. So, of course, with every production, there are minor setbacks with scheduling and, occupying people's times. But the great thing that we enjoyed about it is it brought a lot of people together, and at the end of the filming and shooting, it just seemed like one big family.
What was your favorite part about Los Angeles?
I think it's just so strange. I'm still getting used to the left-right driving situation. In Down Under, it's the opposite. So I keep going on to the left side of the road instead of the right, yeah.
I was saying earlier that when I was going down these roads where I'm seeing familiar landmarks, I'm like, oh, I saw that in the movie. So it's been really great to sort of live that Hollywood maybe type drink lifestyle, yeah.
The EVMAs has a full lineup of live entertainment and on-stage performances, but naturally, the biggest draw of the award show were the awards. Happy winners stepped off the big stage and into the VIP room to field questions from the media.
What kind of hard work went into this project?
So a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of meetings, a lot of devotional prayers. We ate 40 pints of ice cream for this movie. You want to know why? Check it out. Life is Sweet, Southeast California.
This is my first time ever being part of an in-cinema film. I have been in front of the camera before, but never in this capacity of acting. So it was really a challenge to kind of put yourself in a space of what somebody else is going through. But it's great to know that everybody did that.
As you can tell, viewers, this gentleman is very dapper. He looks like he's quite ready to paint the town red. What are you planning to do to celebrate this win?
Well, I think we're gonna sleep because a lot of this was a surprise, and and so my energy is gone, and this was a long filming process. So I'm gonna celebrate with a nap.
Would you do this all over again?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
We not only were able to produce a film through the InCinema project, but we were able to help organize and be part of the EVM Award.
Just about every filmmaker, cast, and crew member we spoke with said that they're eager to try again next year to make it to the big stage of the EVM Awards International. But that for now, this year's show is a wrap.
The Excellence in Visual Media Awards International may be done, but the night is far from over.
And before my outfit turns back into a pumpkin, we ought to at least mingle with the InCinema stars and, while we're at it, show off this award I won for Best Child Performer.
You do know that the owner will be looking for that, right?
Which is why I was just about to return it.
We'll give you a last look of the still animated crowd exiting the Microsoft Theater.
And instead of fading to black like how a proper script ends, we'll instead conclude our coverage by fading out to the bright lights of this electric city.
Reporting from Los Angeles, California for Eagle News, this is Eva and Alan, and we are 1 with 25.
Thanks, Alan and Eva. 2 years ago, the EVMA North America region debuted as well in the US. It was in the Bay Area in San Francisco. Now, if you want to experience our live broadcast of the EVMA International 2018, visit our website at Eaglenews.PH. More interviews from the red carpet. That is today's Eagle News Washington, D.C. Join us tomorrow for the weekend edition. Thank you for watching. I'm Anna Kui, and I am 1 with 25.